With the popularity of e-bikes massively outpacing supply, I'm always happy to see quality new entrants on the market. This is the R1, sent to me for evaluation by its manufacturer Snapcycle, and it retails for just under $1,700. The R1 features a robust frame that integrates a battery in the down tube, protected by a battery management system not typically found on e-bikes in this price range. Snapcycle spec'd the R1 with thermal sensors throughout the battery, which allows the BMS to regulate discharge based upon the temperature of the cells. Using lithium batteries when they're either too hot or too cold accelerates the degradation of the cells so that they don't hold as much of a charge as they did when the battery is brand new. So it might surprise you to know that most e-bikes have no thermal management whatsoever, but the R1 does, and those same thermal sensors are what allow its charger to take an empty battery to full charge in just 5 hours. That's pretty fast for a battery that's 670 watt hours. That attention to detail is found in other features of the R1, making it an excellent choice for someone who's looking for a multi-surface capable e-bike that's probably going to outlast others in the price category.
The R1 is an inaugural multi-surface fat tire e-bike from a company called Snapcycle. It's built around a beautiful 6061 aluminum frame that integrates a 48-volt, 14-amp-hour battery into its down tube. A step-through version is also available, though both currently only come in this stunning metallic gray. Note that the scratch on the frame is due to a packing error that the manufacturer corrected before beginning shipments to customers. Inside that battery are Samsung 35E cells protected by a CE-certified battery management system. By monitoring battery temperature as well as state of charge, the R1's BMS protects the cells from thermal degradation. Very few e-bikes use thermal management of any kind, so you should expect more battery service life from the R1 than from most e-bikes in this price category. The R1 ships as a Class 2 e-bike with throttle and pedal assist speeds limited to 20 miles per hour, though you can easily change the max pedal assist speed to Class 3 if that's permitted where you ride. The rear hub motor sustains 750 watts but is capable of peaking at a whopping 1200 watts. A compact control pad allows quick switching between 5 levels of pedal assist with a half twist throttle on the right for when you want the motor to do more of the work. A center mounted 3.2-inch LCD display provides clear readout of both riding and battery stats. The human drivetrain provides 6 gears from 14 to 28 teeth on the freewheel, selected by a Shimano Tourney thumb shifter up front and a colorful Shimano Tourney TZ derailleur in the back. 170mm cranks turn a 48-tooth chainring kept in place by dual plastic chain guards. Stopping power is provided by 180mm rotors and Tektro mechanical calipers front and rear. Switches in the brake levers cut power to the motor anytime a lever is pulled for increased safety and decreased stopping distances. This press sample did not come with an integrated taillight, but consumer bikes do. That taillight will also function as a brake light whenever you pull either brake lever. JustTech supplies the wide, deeply padded saddle. Ergonomic stitched synthetic leather grips provide the cushioning for your palms. The Springer front fork is from Mozo. It provides 80mm of travel with adjustable preload and lockout. Sitting on the fork brace is an LED headlight selectable by the control pad. Polymer fenders are standard, covering 4-inch wide CST BFT knobby tires. They're capable of safely operating at pressures as low as 5 psi when extra traction and compliance is desired. The included aluminum rear rack is as heavy duty as I've seen, with a max payload of 110 pounds. Snapcycle states that with the proper accessory, you can carry a pet or a small child along for your ride. Total weight of the R1 is 72 pounds, which is held upright by an aluminum kickstand when you're parked. The R1 comes mostly assembled and includes the tools to finish the job. As mentioned, this is an early production sample that was packed extremely well, except for the lack of axle caps on the front wheel. Customer bikes won't have this issue. Total assembly required a casual 38 minutes, mainly due to the extra mounting points the rack requires for its massive 110-pound cargo capacity. Nothing was difficult, just tedious. Anyone who can follow simple directions can assemble the R1, though I did find using a rear wheel stand helpful. If you don't want to put it together yourself, any competent bike shop can assemble the R1 for you if they're willing to work on bikes they don't sell.
The Snapcycle R1 is a multi-surface bike, hardtail with a fork, that comes from the factory set up as a Class 2 e-bike. That means that both pedal assist and throttle are limited to 20 miles per hour, at which point the motor kicks off. But you can go into the settings and adjust the top speed for pedal assist up to 28 miles per hour to make it a Class 3 e-bike. It's really nice when manufacturers give you the ability to do that in the settings. I'm just gonna tell you, the thing that gets me most excited about this bike is the motor. It has a 750 watt motor that peaks at 1200 watts. And you can really tell the difference between this and many other 750 watt motors on other bikes, especially in its price range. Oh, and it also has the 180 millimeter mechanical disc brakes that are endemic to this category. And as I always say, they are just fine. They provide ample stopping. It has speed-based pedal assist, and what that means is that for each level of pedal assist, there's a certain mile per hour figure that the motor is going to try to get you to. And what I really like about how this is set up is that pedal assist level 1 is at a very low speed. The good thing about that is the motor will use 100% of its available power to get you up to whatever that speed is for that pedal assist setting. And for bikes that have a level 1 pedal assist at like 8-9 miles per hour, it's very difficult to slowly pass pedestrians or dogs or navigate some traffic situations without the motor trying to shoot you past them up to 8-9 miles an hour. I don't have that issue with the way the speed-based pedal assist is set up in the Snapcycle. The frame is gorgeous. It has an integrated battery, 48 volt, 14 amp hour. And that's what Snapcycle themselves is actually most proud of. The cells used are Samsung cells, but it also has a higher end battery management system in it than most e-bike batteries in this price category. It has thermal regulation, so it protects the battery if it's too cold or if it's too hot. It makes sure that the charge rate is optimal for what the temperature of the battery is at any time, not just the discharge rate. And what that does is it helps the battery have a longer usable life. Because as long as you're following the charging guidelines and not letting the bike store it at 100% charge for a long time, the wear of a battery is most accelerated by those heat cycles. And so having the battery management system pay attention to those heat cycles and not just state of charge, it's gonna make this battery last longer. This is the kind of grade where I actually do appreciate speed-based pedal assist because it varies, but as I slow down because the grade increases, I don't have to do anything to the pedal assist system to get more help. It just automatically applies more power as the grade causes me to slow down. The 4-inch wide tires are by a company called CST. They are not quite as grippy as some of the knobby tires that are spec'd on other bikes in this price category, but they are plenty adequate for riding on surfaces like this. This actually has an electric horn, but it's so annoying I never use it. It scares the heck out of people. I think it's more usable in kind of urban settings or traffic settings. Places like this, I just call out. I don't hit the horn. And and since I don't usually use the horn, my thumb doesn't just automatically go there when I need to go, oh my gosh, I just yell out. It's just what my reaction is anyway. It's fun that they have it though. You're fine where you are, just coming around on your left. The shifter is the ubiquitous Torney thumb shifter from Shimano. I always say this, I'm going to say it again today. It is the shifter you're going to find on bikes in this price category. I prefer a trigger shifter over this thumb shifter because you have to pull your hand away from the grip, out of your gripping position in order to make a shift. You don't have to do that with trigger shifters. I mean, my hand is still on the grip, but I have to open it up in order to downshift. But it gets me the gear that I want when I want it, and that's all I ever ask of it, and it does just fine. The most notable aspect of the human drivetrain is that Snapcycle uses a 6-speed Shimano drivetrain instead of the usual 7-speed drivetrain. I think that's to allow them to put some of the money they get from its relatively low price that they charge for it into other things like battery management and this really powerful motor programming. So it is less than a 7-speed drivetrain because you have less usable gear ratios for pedaling. I think most people won't notice a difference, and the motor's gonna pick up the slack between the different gear ratios for most people anyway. The front fork is from a company called Mozo. I'm not familiar with them. It's not RST. It doesn't really look like it's co-branded like a lot of other front forks that might be different than RST brand. I don't really know, but it does seem quiet. It seems to be compliant in the right ways with good dampening. It's still just 80 millimeters of travel, but that's adequate for this kind of riding for sure. The display is really nice. It's very readable for my nearly 52-year-old eyes. You've got your speedometer nice and big. You have your pedal assist nice and big. You have your odometer nice and big. You have the battery state of charge, which is not a percentage. It doesn't list a percentage. It just has 5 bars for you to follow. But in truth, most state of charge displays are not actually accurate down to 1% in the first place. So the 5 bars is kind of all most people are going to need to know about where they are with what battery charge they have left. And then it also has a vertical stack bar that's letting you know how much motor assist you're getting. It doesn't give you a wattage figure, which I do wish it had, but it does tell you kind of low, medium, or high how much you're using of the motor, which also tells you how much you're draining the battery. The control pad is nice and compact, but I really like it. It's very ruggedized, but even though the plus and minus buttons for the pedal assist are stacked right on top of each other, I have no problems knowing which one I'm pushing. And the best thing about them is that there's even a click that I can hear while I'm riding the bike. I can feel the click, I can hear the click, and I have full confidence when that button clicks, I'm getting the change in pedal assist setting that I want. There's so many control pads that are out there that just don't have that positive tactile or audible feedback, and I have to actually look at the screen and make sure that I pressed firmly enough or in the right place to get the pedal assist setting that I want. But this control pad is great. The grips are the same stitched synthetic leather cushioned ergonomic grips that you're going to find on just about every bike in this category as well. They do a great job of supporting your palms, making it easier on your wrists. The saddle is one of those things where I think it's a good match for the bike. It's not a great match for my butt. And that's just a personal thing. I think the cushioning is great. It's just the width to it causes the wings of the back of the saddle to kind of press into the back of my hamstrings when I need to pedal really hard. I would prefer a narrower saddle to come spec standard, like you find on most multi-trail, multi-surface e-bikes in this price category. And then for people who want a lot more cushioning, they're going to probably spend a lot of money on a wide cushion saddle anyway. Okay, so we're at the pedal assist test. I'm at pedal assist level 5, and it's keeping me right around 20 miles per hour. I'm actually in the 4th gear with a very comfortable turnover for me. And so, given that I have, wow, yeah, 2 more years, I can see how somebody who is looking to use this in class 3 with pedal assist up to 28 miles per hour, I think you'll be fine with the gearing. You're not going to be spinning out or ghost pedaling, as they say, to try to get a turnover to get your speed up to 28 miles per hour with pedal assist. So I'm 5'8", 30-inch inseam. Oop, it's already time to go. And guess what? I don't have any pedal assist on, so the throttle doesn't work. So another thing I always mention, I prefer programming that allows the throttle to work with pedal assist set to 0 for times when I like to be doing all the work myself. But this, you have to have at least pedal assist 1. Going over the speed bumps, this fork is actually perfectly fine, and I get good compliance out of the back tire too, so I don't feel like I'm bucking over it. That's very nice. Coming onto our section of broken pavement, and oh, this ride is glorious. This is great. For a hardtail, this is a very nice ride over broken pavement. So this is that little subtle grade that lets me know how that first gear is for me, and it's a bit tall. I wish it had a true grainy gear, and that's where maybe if they had a 7-speed drivetrain, they could bump everything down to where I could go more slowly up a little grind like this with a comfortable turnover. But with this gear, I have to be around 10 miles an hour to get the turnover that my legs like. That's in first gear. That's a pretty tall first gear. So as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by that green light, is that I am 5'8" with a 30-inch inseam, and oh, this lady's gonna need to get by. Okay, let's try this again. 3rd time's a charm. So, as I was saying, I am 5'8", 30-inch inseam, and I have no problems standing over the top tube. I am feeling the top tube there, but it's not pressing into me. I think if you had a much shorter inseam, you'd be pressing a little harder. Whether or not that's a problem depends upon your preference as a rider. I had to get pedal assist into at least 1 for the throttle to work. Now we're doing max throttle test. Same deal. Gets me to about 20 miles per hour before it cuts off, just as I have it programmed. Okay, this is that fun part of this park, and this is very responsive, very easy to carve around these turns. I do notice that there isn't as much of a grip as I lean into these turns with these tires as with something like the Kenda Crusades, which are my favorite fat tire, off-road tire. These are plenty adequate for what most people are going to use them for. Most people won't even be going this fast on a trail like this. Woohoo! This is where I have to hit pedal assist 1 to get that little bit of help from the throttle to climb that little breakover. Oh, yeah. I don't think any tire would stick in that kind of slop. That's not a fault of this tire. That's really deep, slick mud. Look how saturated the ground is right here. Well, now we're gonna climb this thing and see how the 1200 watts of peak motor power handles it Oh, and by the way, my legs are perfectly dry coming through all of that slop because of the standard fenders, which I like. Oh yeah, that motor is kicking in. Easy day. I'm barely pedaling, which is a good thing because, yeah, look at this. Woo, like a billy goat. Because this gear is too tall for me to be providing a lot of human power at these slower, steeper sections. But I don't have to. This is a crazy good climber with pedal assist. I'm at pedal assist level 2, which is going to try to get me to around 12 miles per hour. But what that means is that full power is going to kick on a lot sooner as the bike slows down. And yeah, this thing climbs like a beast. The other crazy thing about this bike, which I found that I like having on a bike but I don't use very often, is the standard rack. But this rack is so heavy duty, it can support 110 pounds. And they even say, yes, you can put a pet carrier, you can put a kid's seat on the back, and you can, according to them, safely ride with the appropriate accessory with a child or a pet on the back. I think that's crazy that the capacity is so high. I don't think I've ever tested a bike with a rack capacity anywhere close to 110 pounds. But I think that's a good way to end this portion of the test. From the rack to the motor to the battery to the frame, Snapcycle has tried to overbuild the R1. It has mechanical disc brakes and not hydraulic disc brakes. It has 6 speeds instead of 7 or 8, but you're getting a lot of very high quality components that you don't ordinarily see at all, let alone on a bike in this price category. So if you're somebody that's going to be doing trail riding like this, or mainly on the roads, and you don't mind using pedal assist when things get slow because of the gear being tall, or you're somebody that doesn't really care what your cadence is, I think this is a great option in its price category. They did a really good job for one of their first bikes to come out from this brand. Yeah, I'd like one more gear on the low end so I can provide more of the power when riding slowly, but if that's not important to you, the motor certainly makes up for it. And with how expensive the battery is, even on the least expensive e-bike, the fact that the R1 comes spec'd with thermal management is only going to increase its value over time. Snapcycle also offers a 14-day trial on the R1. Get the R1, try it out for 14 days, and if you don't like it, you can send it back. Full details on their 14-day trial can be found at their website. If you're interested in getting the R1 or any Snapcycle product for yourself, please use the link in the video description to place your order. It supports the channel when you do. Be sure to subscribe for more e-bike videos. I really appreciate you watching The Tech of Tech, and I hope to see you next time.